Hail and greetings all, it's Ragnarok here, and today I'm going to show you how I save my squash seeds. As we talked about before, you're definitely going to want to use a mature vegetable here. We let this squash sit on the vine, it's one of the last stragglers out there, and so it's time to go ahead and collect the seeds. We'll start by removing the neck of the squash here. As you well know, there aren't any seeds in the neck, so we'll set this aside to use later. And then I'm just going to half the squash. Just be careful with your knife, as the skin of this squash is a little thicker than normal. You don't want it going awry. Go ahead and split it open, and here are those wonderfully mature squash seeds. Got a nice lump of them here. So I'm going to take my handy dandy spoon and go ahead and scrape them out into the jar. Now this squash is a little hard. Go ahead and dig in here. I'm trying not to get too much of the flesh of the squash. I want to just focus on the seed and the pulp in the center here. There we go. And right into the jar. Get the rest of the seeds out here. There we go. Oop. There we go, we have our squash boat. This squash is still fine, it's still edible, so we'll set this aside to cook for later. We're going to get this one here, scoop the rest of this one out. Just gentle motions, making sure to collect all the seeds around the edges, and into the jar. Gather up what I spilled on the side here. You don't want to lose any seeds. Now I'm going to just pour water into the jar to cover up all the pulp and the seeds. And then we're going to go ahead and cap it. There we go. And then we're just going to vigorously shake it. We're trying to loosen up that pulp and the seed inside so they separate a little bit easier, as well as cleaning them off. And go ahead and pour them through my sieve and then onto a paper towel, where I'm going to begin separating the pulp from the seeds. I got a little thick rind here, so we'll dig through this. And this process is the same for any type of squash or pumpkin or gourd. You want to collect as much as you can of the seeds, and then the pulp makes a great treat for the chickens. You really want to get as much pulp off of the seeds as possible. No straggling hairs of pulp. I'm going to go ahead and finish separating this. And now I'm going to pour them onto another paper towel, just on a cookie sheet. Keep them a little drier this way. There we go. Now I'm just going to smooth them out into a single layer here. I want them to have surface area to dry. I don't want them sticking to each other, keeping any wet spots that could mold. And then I'm just going to take and set it up and let it dry for a couple of days. And here you can see the dried seed. Now I need to go through it and separate what is viable seed and what isn't. And you're going to tell by a little gentle squeeze here, this is a good seed. It doesn't bend, it's hard. But then here, let's see, yeah, this seed is not viable. You can see here, it folds just like paper. It didn't mature fully, so we're going to put that off to one side and continue through. Just give them a little bend, a little squeeze, and you'll be able to tell. Once again, here's another one. That goes in the bad pile. Now that we have them all separated out, you can see it's about 50-50. We have half of the seeds weren't viable and the other half are great. And this is from one squash, so we got a nice selection here. Definitely worth taking the time. Until next we meet, be well.